Welcome! In this and the following session, we will talk about how to integrate PoolParty with content management systems. In this session, we will focus on the challenge of integrating one content management system with PoolParty, in contrast to architectures that integrate more than one content management system, or a content management system and other data storage systems with PoolParty. When you use PoolParty to tag content within a content management system, this is called PoolParty PowerTagging. We will start this session by taking a look at the PowerTagging workflow and explore the steps of the integration process. We will get familiar with different options for fully automatic and semi-automatic or supervised PowerTagging. To give an example of how an integration could look like, we will see a generic metadata management dialog that exemplifies how an integration of PoolParty with your content management system could look like. Let's start with taking a look at the PoolParty PowerTagging workflow. At the very start of the workflow, there is a piece of content. Once you create content in or upload content to your content management system, your content management system will trigger a REST call to the PoolParty Extractor API. Now, PoolParty will annotate your content. This is where your content gets connected to your taxonomy. Once PoolParty has analyzed the content, it will return tags and other information to your content management system. The tags can then be stored together with your content in your content management system. We will now follow this basic workflow outline and go into details about every step along the line. We will also see why you could extend this basic workflow to introduce more advanced features such as manual revision of the automatic tagging process. The first step we have to think about is configuration of the REST call that your CMS sends to the PoolParty API. There are a number of parameters you can set to configure which information you get back from the call. First, you will have to decide how many tags you would like to store with each piece of content. To restrict the number of tags that should be returned by the PoolParty Extractor API, you can use PoolParty's relevance score. PoolParty will automatically calculate a relevance score for each tag that is based on the number of occurrences of a concept in the document and also on the position of the concept in the document. There are ways to fine-tune this scoring mechanism by adding additional parameters that will be discussed in other sessions. There are two options from which you can choose to restrict the number of tags that should be returned by the PoolParty extractor. As a first option, you can set a fixed maximum number of tags that should be returned. For example, you can allow the system to return a maximum of 15 or 20 tags for each piece of content. PoolParty will then return the 15 or 20 tags with the highest relevance score. As a second option, you can set a cutoff value for the relevance score. In this case, only concepts with a relevance score that is higher than your cutoff value will be returned. The actual number of tags that would be added to a piece of content would vary, depending on how many relevant concepts it contains. Finally, you will have to decide what information you would like PoolParty to return from the call. In its simplest form, you would only need to store the URIs of concepts that were found in the content, i.e. the tags, together with your content in your content management system. In many cases, it makes sense to store not just the URI of the concepts the text was tagged with, but also the preferred labels, so that your content management system can display the tags without having to access the taxonomy. It is also often advantageous to store additional information, such as, for example, time and date of the tagging event. This can help with re-indexing by enabling the system to identify the age of the tags. In other cases, you might want to also store each tag's top concept. The tag's top concept is the broadest concept in the taxonomy hierarchy that the tag belongs to. You could use this for faceted search. There are two opposing considerations that drive the decision of which information you would like to keep in PoolParty and which information you would like to store in your content management system as well. The first consideration is related to performance. Storing information together with your content in the content management system will be faster than if you only store tag URIs with your content and have to refer back to the taxonomy to fetch additional information whenever you need it. The second consideration is effort of maintenance. If you choose to duplicate information in both your content management system and PoolParty, you will also have to maintain this information in both places, which is more costly than only maintaining it in one place. In the end, the decision of which information you would like to store together with the tagging information in your content management system has to be taken with the end application in mind. We have now completed the first step of integrating PoolParty with your content management system. We have configured the REST call your content management system will send to the PoolParty extractor. We have decided how many tags we would like to get back, and we have decided which additional information we would like to get together with the tags. The second step would be to configure your content management system to consume the information returned by the PoolParty extractor API. This has to be done on the side of your content management system. The third step is ensuring continuous synchronization of your content management system and PoolParty. We will have to think about how we can ensure that the tags stay up to date in a continuous workflow where both the content in your content management system and the taxonomy in PoolParty are edited and changed. There are two sides to this problem: what to do when content in your content management system changes, and what to do when the taxonomy changes. Let's start to think about how we would ensure that the tags are up to date when you change content in your content management system. The easiest solution is that each time a piece of content is edited, this piece of content is treated like a newly created one. It is sent to the PoolParty extractor and re-indexed. Changes to your taxonomy are more difficult to synchronize because they potentially affect your entire content base. There are different strategies how to achieve optimal synchronization of your tags with your PoolParty taxonomy. Choice of strategy depends on the available functionality within your content management system. The recommended synchronization strategy is to set up a scheduled lookup in your content management system. Your content management system will regularly call the PoolParty Thesaurus API to receive the change history of your PoolParty taxonomy. Every change to your taxonomy should trigger a specific action in your content management system to ensure that your tags are aligned with your taxonomy. Let's take a look at the different possible changes in your taxonomy and how they would be propagated to your content management system. The first possible change is the deletion of concepts from your taxonomy. If concepts have been deleted from your taxonomy, an action should be triggered to delete those concepts from the tags in your content management system as well. Deleting tags from your content management system is not very costly, because concepts can be targeted using their URI. The second possible change is modification of concepts in your taxonomy. If concepts have been modified, for example, if labels have been added, deleted or modified, this will require action on side of the content management system only if labels are stored within the CMS as well, and not just concept URIs. If labels are stored within the CMS, then the labels should be updated if they have been changed in the taxonomy. Since the concepts can be identified uniquely via their URI, this can be a very precise action. The same principle applies to changes of relations or other information in your taxonomy. This will only need to be synchronized if any of this information is duplicated in your CMS. The most complex case is the case where concepts are added to your taxonomy. In this case, either a full re-indexing of the content in the content management system needs to take place, or you identify a subset of documents for which the newly added concepts might be relevant. Then only that subset of documents would have to be re-indexed. In both cases, the synchronization of added concepts is the most resource-intensive. Once we have completed the configuration of the basic power tagging workflow and ensured synchronization of PoolParty and the tags in your content management system, we can think about a fourth, optional step. We can adapt the power tagging workflow to include manual review of the tags. If we choose to include a manual curation step of the tags, this would mean that the information that is returned by the PoolParty extractor is not directly stored in your content management system. A person would have to review the tags suggested by the PoolParty extractor before they are stored in your content management system. This would be a semi-automatic or supervised power tagging workflow. Say we would like the reviewer to be able to remove suggested tags and to add tags that would not have been added by the system automatically. Allowing the reviewer or editor to remove suggested tags could be realized by displaying the tags that are suggested by the PoolParty extractor to the reviewer and allowing the reviewer to pick and choose which ones she or he would like to keep. Only those tags that are approved by the reviewer would be stored. For the second point, adding tags, there are 4 options how the reviewer could add tags. As a first option, the reviewer could add tags that are in the taxonomy and that were found in the text, but that would not have been added as tags to the document automatically. It is very likely that the system will return many tags that are not among the top 15 or 20 tags that you define should be added to a document, or tags that have a relevance score that falls below the cut-off value you set to restrict the number of tags. You could display all those tags that would not have been added to the document automatically, and the reviewer can choose to add tags from this list. As a second option, you could add tags that are not mentioned explicitly in the text, but that are related to existing tags in the taxonomy. With this, you would be using the taxonomy structure to identify tag suggestions. As an example, you could suggest tags that are siblings in the taxonomy of tags that are already added to your content. You could even filter those suggestions to rank those tags higher that are often used jointly with tags that have already been added to your content. This kind of intelligent tag suggestions would support the user to identify keywords for content that are not explicitly mentioned in the text, thus providing significant advantages over fully automatic tagging workflows where only tags that are explicitly mentioned in the content are identified. As a third option, the reviewer could add tags that are suggested by the PoolParty extractor, but that are not yet part of the taxonomy. The PoolParty extractor can be configured to return free terms, in addition to concepts. Free terms are terms that the PoolParty extractor finds in the text, which are not in the taxonomy, but which still have a high relevance score. As a fourth option, the reviewer could input new tags manually. If you choose to implement options 3 or 4, the issue arises that you are tagging documents with terms which do not have a corresponding concept in your taxonomy, and which therefore do not have a URI. This can be solved by sending these terms to the PoolParty Thesaurus API and creating new concepts, which have the terms as a label. The PoolParty Thesaurus API will return the URIs for these newly created concepts, which can then be stored as tags together with your document. Creating new concepts via the API also triggers a workflow inside the PoolParty Thesaurus Manager. These new concepts will be added as suggested concepts in the PoolParty Thesaurus Manager. In this state, they already have a URI, but they are not yet part of the taxonomy. A taxonomy manager will have to incorporate these concepts into the thesaurus. Let's briefly review the power tagging workflow once again. The process starts with the user uploading or creating content in your content management system. Your content management system will automatically trigger a REST call to the PoolParty API. The PoolParty extractor will return a list of tags. Optionally, you can also get back additional information, such as tag labels, top concepts, or free terms. Your content management system will store these tags. Optionally, you can include a manual review step of the tags. Here, a user can review the tags that the PoolParty extractor suggests for the text. The user could delete suggested tags or add additional tags. These tags are then stored together with the content in your content management system and can be used for applications such as semantic search. Some thought should also go into the synchronization of your content management system and your PoolParty taxonomy to ensure that your tags stay up to date. Now that we have heard how PoolParty PowerTagging works and how you could integrate it into your own content management system, let's take a look at an example integration. We will now explore a generic metadata editing dialog that you could integrate into your content management system. This is how a metadata editing dialog could look like. As a first step, we'll need some content. I have prepared this job ad for a surgical assistant. Imagine that this dialog is embedded in your content management system. Here, your editors could create content. Once I have finished writing, I click Submit, and I am redirected to this metadata management dialog. Here, I can select tags for my text and tell the system which tags to store with my content. In the background, we use the mesh taxonomy. The medical subject headings taxonomy is a controlled vocabulary published by the United States National Library of Medicine. It contains descriptors for the fields of medicine and life sciences. In this tag cloud, I can see all the concepts that the PoolParty extractor found in my job ad and suggests as tags. In this implementation, we chose to express the relevance score of the tags with the size of the font. This means that the larger the suggested tag, the higher is its relevance score. On the right-hand side, I have a lever with which I can adjust the cutoff value for the relevance score. The higher I set the cutoff value, the less tags remain. A simple way to select some tags would be to set this lever to a certain value and then just add all remaining tags. At the bottom, I can see my current selection of tags. I can unselect some tags by clicking on them. I can also unselect tags by clicking on them in the tag cloud and add them again by clicking on them. At the top, we can see some filters. These filters are based on the structure of the taxonomy that powers the tagging. Each filter maps to a concept scheme in the taxonomy. A concept scheme is the broadest container of concepts in a taxonomy. To the right-hand side of the filter, I can see how many tags that are in the concept scheme in the taxonomy have been found in my text, and how many of those I have already added as tags to my content. I can also use these filters to select some tags. When I select a filter, all tags that belong to this filter are highlighted in the tag cloud. I can now choose to add all highlighted tags to my selection of tags. I can also display my tags as a list. Here I can see the tag, its filter, and its relevance score. Again, I can use the lever on the right-hand side to adjust my cutoff value for the relevance score. I can sort the tags by their label, their filters, and their relevance score. With the checkbox on the left-hand side, I can select and unselect tags. This little symbol here will direct me to a visual representation of my taxonomy. Here I can browse the taxonomy and maybe look for additional tags that I would like to add to my content. Clinical coding, for example, seems to be a concept that could be relevant to our job description, even though it was not explicitly mentioned and was therefore not suggested by the PoolParty extractor. If I want to add this as a tag, I can go to the search interface and look for my concept. I can add it by just clicking on it. All the functionality you have seen in this dialog is based on the PoolParty extractor and PoolParty Thesaurus APIs. It is one of many ways in which you could implement your own manual review of tags in your content management system. Let's recap what we have heard in this session. We went through the steps of the integration of one content management system with PoolParty PowerTagging. We have talked about different options you have as to how many tags you would like to add to your content and what additional information you could store together with the tags. We have explored how you could ensure that your content management system and PoolParty stay synchronized. We have also seen how you could include a manual review step of tags to create a semi-automatic or supervised power tagging workflow. As an example, we have taken a look at the generic metadata editing dialog and tried out some functionality that you could implement in such a dialog based on the PoolParty Thesaurus and PoolParty Extractor APIs. In the next session, we will talk about how you could integrate more than one content management system or a content management system and other data storage systems with PoolParty.